Hello everyone, Bigman here. So today we're going to be looking at the new game mode that was introduced with the weapons DLC being Conquest. Now Conquest is a game mode, if you didn't know, where you play normal career, but you also have to deal with enemy AI and you have to capture zones. So that means that you have to fight the enemy AI, which means you spend more money, which means it's more dynamic, it's a lot more fun. So anyway, let's get into it. Firstly, just a starting note: when you conquer an island, that does not mean that you have the ability to spawn there. Buying a zone and capturing a zone are two completely different things. You have to, if you want to spawn something and capture something, capture it first, then buy it. So you need the funds as well. Okay, so first things first, you need to think strategically, and I'm not talking like full-on plan out strategy kind of thing. If you're playing this with mates, generally just go ham, but think it through beforehand. Whereas personally, the way I play is I move towards the enemy on a front. I don't just get random bases, because at the end of the day, if they take one of your bases and you've got no other bases nearby, you've lost that base. You can't assault it. You have to actually make sure you have other bases near to whatever base was just taken so that you can recapture it, because I mean, last thing you want is fly for half an hour or sail for an hour and then get blown up and have to do it again. Alright, next thing, don't overextend yourself, and it might seem slightly counterintuitive to the previous point, but you need to make sure that you can defend the stuff you have. So if you get into a point where you're going over to one island to defend it, and you're going over to another to defend it, and you have to go make money, and then you're just running yourself short of resource and time, and it's just exhausting, let a few islands go. Just keep the islands and keep the spaces that are actually important. Also, make sure that you can defend yourself at all times. I've personally found that, carry weapons all the time. Doesn't matter what you have, even if you're like on a cargo boat, transporting containers or taking fluids or coal. Take big guns, because at the end of the day, the enemy AI can track you and they will attack you occasionally. So just make sure of that. Alright, third thing, just arm yourself to the teeth. And I mean this seriously, as I said in the previous point, you need lots of defense. So make better systems for your guns, get bigger guns, because bigger guns are better generally. And just make them more practical, make them smarter. At the end of the day, if you can eliminate the player part of the equation when it comes to aiming a gun or anything like that, that is good. Because at the end of the day, if you can have 5 guns aiming at one target instead of 1 controlled by you, that is a lot better. Alright, now, making money. This is the one that's it's going to be slightly controversial maybe, but the way I've been playing is I've said to myself, okay, per capture I will reward myself with $100,000. You don't have to do it like this, but I think it's a nice incentive other than the strategic value to get islands. Almost think of it as like a tax, I guess. Rescue doesn't pay. It just doesn't. I mean, when you get, maybe if you're lucky 10 to 20 grand per rescue mission, but you can get upwards of 50 to 100 grand if you, use shipping of crude oil or coal. Coal especially is amazing to ship. Then do that, because that is what gets you the money. And at the end of the day, in a style of fighting such as this one, which is typically a lot of guerrilla fighting, just go in, bash them, lose your plane, go in again and bash them until they're gone. You're going to need to have lots of money in the bank as like reservoir. So don't use rescue. I actually, on my save for Conquest, I turned the missions off, the default missions, and so I'm only doing resource trading because the rescue doesn't pay, and the last thing I want to do is, you know, see all these rescue missions on my map and get all these alerts. Really, I'm just trying to fight these guys. Now, when it comes to making money, there are some certain advantageous locations. So, for example, if you go to the North Harbour on Sawyer Islands and follow the train line to the first junction and then take the turn at the junction, it's a coal place that you can deposit. And you can make lots of money off that really quickly. Same with the Isle of Donk. If you go to the Isle of Donk, spawn a train with lots of coal, and go to the end at Terminal Komodo, you will be able to find a coal deposit where you can deposit your coal and make lots of money on it. Same with the oil refinery. If you bring crude oil there, you'll make lots of money off that as well. Also, when it comes to buying things, generally I would go to the oil refinery to buy stuff as well, because diesel was generally cheaper there to buy than other places. It's not cheaper than in the workbench, but jet fuel certainly is. Jet fuel is typically around $2 or less, whereas in the workbench it's about $4. Alright, the last thing is, you know, it's a bit up to you. Personally, I think it's a good idea. It's up to you at the end of the day though. So, I personally decided that I want to have a home base, and not like an island that I always stick to and launch from. Yes, that's a good idea, but I've decided that I'm going to make a custom base. You know, everything I need, preferably in an advantageous location. I haven't decided yet, but I think you guys should do that as well, because having almost like a forward operating base where, you know, on your island you can't put radar and weather and, you know, refueling spots and maintenance spots easily, but with something like that you can, and it's somewhere to store all your vehicles. So if you sit there and go, oh okay, I need to take the boat, you can take the boat. You need to take a helicopter or a jet, you've got that access to you. So yeah, it's more expensive because you've got to keep fuel on you, and you know, but personally I think it's a great idea. Well, that's pretty much it from me. If you have any other suggestions, put them in the comments. But thank you for watching everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.